Hello, my journaling and reading besties. Today we are going to be doing my Cycle 2 setup with this gorgeous washi tape from the washi tape shop. I absolutely love the coloring of this. I'm not a pink person, but I do really like the blush pink and greens of this design. And it makes such a pretty design with all the cogs and the birds and the leaves. I just love it. So first up, I'm going in and creating my Cycle 2 front cover page. I have all my headers pre-printed on washi paper for this, and then I use my Cricut machine to cut them out. The one thing I will say is I don't like having the Cricut cut so close and go around the letters so intricately. It makes it really difficult to pull them off and to then line them up on the page neatly and in line just because of how delicate they are. I think I might, for the next lot that I print, do it as more of a block, and then that way they can sit down straight and I'm not trying to line it up based on each individual letter and having to worry about tearing as much. As you can see, this one does not go on that straight. It's not too bad, but it is hindered by the fact that each of the letters are intricately cut around themselves. Even more so with the W there, I really struggled with that one. But all in all, I really enjoy how this came together. I like the overall layout, and I had a good time trying to work out what sort of pictures I wanted to put down. I did have these pre-cut out just to make this filming a lot easier, but I hadn't worked out what designs I wanted to put down in which spot yet. I just had a whole bunch cut out ahead of time to speed things up. So I'm really hoping with Cycle 2 that I can set it all up and really use the system a lot more than what I did with Cycle 1. Cycle 1, I didn't get the best use out of it, and that is purely by my fault. I need to get better at opening up my planner every day and actually using it. Sorry for my head. Um, so Cycle 2, I am definitely trying to focus on creating a design that works well for me, that I'm excited to use and wanting to go in and use, but we will see. I am currently going in with Tombow 850. It's a really pretty pale pink, like a pale blush color. I actually really like this color and I think it suits the design really well. And I'm just going in and creating a box around the header. I love the way that this came together. Absolutely so proud of myself for this one, especially because I didn't pre-plan it, which I really should have, just to make sure that everything was sitting evenly, because it's definitely not. And I can tell later on of how off-centered everything is, but that's okay. Things in our journals are not necessarily made to be the most perfect thing. It's how we grow and develop, and we live and learn just by doing. So by putting this down, by doing all this and not having it pre-planned, hopefully I will learn for next time to go in with a bit more of a plan of how I want this page to look, and that will help for next time. Up next, I'm going in with a richer pink. I actually can't remember what number this is. I'll go back and find out. But I am not a fan of how this pink contrasted with everything else. I actually wish I just went in with the same blush pink for that. It just stood out way, way too much for me. Okay, moving on to the first actual spread of the cycle. And for this, I'm going to use it as a place to record my goals for this new cycle, as well as list projects and tasks that I have for this cycle. And then under that, I'm also creating a spot for reflections. So I don't know why I cut these out as two separate, well, three separate words. I think that's something I do need to look at with my headers, is making sure that they cut together so that there isn't a separator between each of the words and they just print out as one long strip, because trying to then line them up and evenly space them is an absolute pain, and I'm not a fan. So it's something I definitely need to work on for future setups, is having all the headers just printed as one big thing, or just not using my Cricut and going back to using scissors just to cut them out so it's one big sentence and I can just stick it down. But anyway, I'm going in with my goals action uh, header. This one I did have it printed off as a goals actioned, but it's not quite the right header for me, and you'll see it again in cycle 3, but I do need to mix it up for future cycles, because what I'm trying to refer to is goals that I'm currently working on, or actions for goals is probably a better way of putting it. So I just need to tweak that header to be exactly what I'm referring to. And then next up is projects and then tasks. So this is just a space to work out what I want to focus on for this cycle. I am not the best at using these pages, to be honest, at the moment. I definitely want to get better at it because I have so many things going on and I just don't flip back to these pages to record anything or then break things down as much as I want. So I do want to get better at this area. At the moment, I'm going in and finding the headers that I want for the next section. So this is where I'm going to put my reflections for the cycle. So at the end of the cycle, I'm coming back to this spot to reflect on things to improve and keep implementing changes within my journal that are for the positive. So obviously my first one up is the wins, and then using that to then create the spacing for all the other sections. So the categories are wins, challenges, memories, needs to try, and lessons. I didn't say that in the correct order, but they are the 6 categories. And that way I can keep improving my journal for myself and working out what does and what does not work for me. And just remember, what does work for me may not necessarily be right for you, but what's right for you just may not work for me. It's all about trial and error with these things. And I'm having fun trialing different things in my journal at the moment because I'm really just starting. This is the first time I've consistently set up a journal, even though we're only on cycle 2, but you know, I'm still aiming for consistency. We'll see how we go. So now that I'm getting the rest of those headers down, I just thought it'd be a good time to ask for some recommendations. I have been trying to set my Rode microphone up to my laptop and I cannot get it to work. So if anyone has any tips on how to get their microphones to sync up, because obviously I want the quality of these voiceovers to be good, please let me know. I'm trying to watch so many YouTube videos and it just doesn't seem to be working for me. So it's frustrating, but we'll see how we go. Yes, I do come back and put in the remaining 2 headers that I realize I have missed at this point, but I'm moving on to my self-care bingo for now, apparently. And at the moment, I'm just going in and counting out all the dots. I also need to set myself up some grid spacing rulers just so I don't have to do that each time. Hopefully by the time I get around to my next one, which at this stage I've already done cycle 3 and still haven't done this. So for cycle 4, hopefully I'll have my grid uh by then. We'll see. I've got a couple of weeks, it's fine. But anyway, I'm going in and just creating a little bingo square just to help motivate me do some self-care things. I am terrible at doing self-care things. I don't make myself a priority. I make everyone else a priority or other things priority and forget about me. So just trying to remind myself to take a few steps back. I don't expect to finish all of these items each cycle. It's just having a prompt list of things that I could be doing for myself during those 4 weeks. So I do get a few things done, just not as many as I probably should, especially when some of them are very, very simple things, like go for a walk outside. Surely within 4 weeks I can find a time to do that, but I'm not that great with it. So anyway, now I'm just going in, putting that header down for the self-care and slowly trying to work out where I need to line it up. As you can see, I'm struggling so hard with having each of the different words on their own. It would be much easier if it was just one strip that I could then place down. But anyway, you live and you learn. I do like the idea of it being cut out with the silhouette, but I don't think it's working as well as it could for me. The other thing I don't particularly, I kind of like, but kind of don't, is when I do it through the Cricut, it doesn't make it as black either, I've noticed. So when I just print straight on the washi tape, it becomes a really deep black. But when I go into the sticker setting for my Cricut, it turns it more into a grey. You can see the difference between that content and all the ones that I'm doing at the moment. They're not the same level of thickness. Anyway, at the moment I'm going in and creating another calendar view. So this is going to be for my content calendar, just so that I can mark off each time that I posted something, so that I can get a quick little glance at when things are getting posted and to not overload myself, I guess. Again, this is another spread that isn't really working for me at the moment. So over the next couple of cycles, I do plan on just mixing things up and trying to find a system that works for me. I do use Notion for content and I want to get a better Notion system too. So I'm slowly playing around with my Notion setup and making a big comprehensive life Notion system. But that's just taking time. So I'm slowly working on that every sort of day or so, just doing a little bit here and there. But for now, I'm creating a mini calendar that I can just see at a glance when I'm posting things. And then I'm going to use the rest of the space for ideas, as well as making a Alastair method for where content is up to, so that I can see at a glance what things have been done for what content type, I guess. And again, just going in with the header. So if you have any tips on how you record your content, please let me know, because I'm always interested in learning different ways and seeing what works for me. I am also looking at doing a little content ideas book and having different layouts in that. So I thought that would be not only helpful for me in researching different layouts and ideas, but also for you guys to get some inspiration for different ways that you could set up either a content journal on its own or just have some spreads in your own planner. So now I'm going in and creating some every second line highlights for things like ideas, Instagram posts, YouTube videos for the different types of content that I have. So just creating those every second line highlights with that blush pink. And now I'm going in with my headers. So that's for my Bookstagram account. I then also have a spot for ideas, and then I am going in with a YouTube header as well when I find it, I guess. We'll see. As well as my fitness account, which I am not the greatest at posting on social media. It is something I am definitely trying to work on and just developing consistency. So hopefully over the next weeks, days, months, I don't know, I slowly get better. It's something I need to work on just to get that consistency happening. But we are now moving on. So moving on to the week one setup, I'm first going to go in with the week one header just so I can work out where that needs to go. Again, it would just be so much easier if these were together. I think I'm committed to the next time I do this, I'm just going to try and cut it out as one big thing. But anyway. And then under that, I am creating a spot for routine slash habit tracking. So going in with the header, and then I'm going to go in with the every second highlight to create a little grid for myself, and just working out the spacing. Again, a ruler would be so helpful for this, but anyway, I'll get there. So just going in for that, and then I will go in with the vertical lines to separate each of the days of the week. And then that's done. Then next up, I have my priorities section. So these are the top priority tasks that I want to get done in the week, and then leaving a space for a header. And then I have my migrated tasks. So any tasks that have been carried over from the previous week slash cycle that are now need to be completed. And then I'm just setting myself up with the first line for the Monday. And then I will go in with the headers because it's just easier to do all the highlights at the same time and then go back for the headers. So putting them all down. See, migrated tasks I left as one big thing. I just need to do it for everything else because it definitely is a lot easier. And once I find the Monday header, because obviously they're printed out and they get put in all random kind of places, there we go. Awesome. Now I'm going in and spending some time just decorating my journal a little bit. I find it a lot easier for myself if I go in and put in all the functional things first and then see what space I have left before I decorate it. I always choose functionality over decoration. So I want to make sure that the spreads work functionally before I cover it in decoration and see what works after that. So obviously like the content calendar page, there isn't that much room left for decoration on that page, but on the weeklies I can make it work. Oh yeah, there's a small feather. There's some room for decoration. I shouldn't say there's no room, but it's limited. Just going and putting things in the corner just to tie it all in. I realized I didn't use that green that I had out at all for colorings. I probably should have used that over the pink at the start. That would have been a much better idea. Anyway, just going in and trimming all that up. I really do love this washi tape. I don't know how I feel about using the washi tape again in the journal. I probably wouldn't use it in the same journal, but maybe in a different one, or my reading journal, maybe I'll use it again because it is really pretty. But, and it's not cheap washi tape either. So I definitely want to get my money's worth. But I don't really have anyone else around me that does journaling. It would be awesome to like have a little group of people where you could go in and sort of buy a third of a washi tape each, because at the end of the day, especially for the size of the washi tape shop rolls, I barely use any of it. Like, I could share it with at least two other people, if not three other people, and you would get a decent amount to do a spread. So if anyone's in Melbourne and is up for something like that, please let me know, because I feel so wasteful buying it all and not using it all, or it puts me off buying rolls that I really do want when I know that I'm only going to use a very small portion of it. Like, I want to enjoy my stash and enjoy what I'm using and not feel wasteful about it. But anyway, I digress. So here is the final view and the flip through. I am so happy with this. I absolutely love how it turned out and I cannot wait to use it. And yes, that is it. I will see you all next time. Bye.